Hello, and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper. Only 27 cycles. Like around a month. Doing pretty alright, all things considered. Alright, let's check our quests, I guess. Build a home. Did get the scrap for it. It was there. We just need to seal the unit. Crack Conway. The facility in the wastes. I do want to deal with Killer. And Crack Conway is part of Disable Tracker. Networks and system of the Greenway have been cut off since the collapse. What could be growing within them? Okay. Talk to Ankita about what happened. Mushrooms. Oh right, work in the compressor. Gotcha. Once again, more mushrooms. That's waiting, and that's waiting. Okay, I think we need money. How much the stabilizers going for? 64. We've definitely got a decent discount going on them. That's right, Ankita was supposed to give me 200 chit, which is what I was counting on. She blew me off. Do need 3 keys. What are you? 3, okay. Well, the one I didn't have. Yatagan, Havenage. Yatagan. Maybe it's in the hub? Keynode and a keynode. Ooh. Imagine these are actually kind of high. 5. Okay. Ooh, the cloud. A glint, like light travelling along the edge of a wave, fills your eyes. Then the blade follows. A long head with 2 dead sockets slipping towards you in silence. You freeze, hoping it'll pass you by, hoping that it will simply not simply slice you like ear. The blade head nears, slides past you, almost. It nicks you, grazes you. You are desperate to cry out, to call out. But you hold your silence and simply watch the blind eyes of the killer glide past, empty of all thought. Then the blade winks into the dark and you are alone again. Now you cry out. Ooh. Okay, that's a 6 that I need. So I need a 6 and a 3. The 2 I don't have. Alright, we're already in the mainframe. We need 3 keys for all of that. Weightless Wanderer. I really want to deal with any of that stuff at the moment. Just go straight to the room. Importer, exporter. Build a ship mine. No, nothing there. Okay, I need to make some money. They'll sell me scrap components there. I better work with the restaurant actually, because they'll pay me and feed me, which is ideal. Okay, not a whole lot we can do here. Ugh. Okay. Still short. $1. One chit. Ugh. Damn it. Have to wait until the next day to buy a stabilizer then. Ethan says Maywick is on their way. You'll need their help. Okay, cool. If I can... Let's try to do some work as a Yatagan agent. If I can get scrap, then I can sell it. And I can get points with Yatagan while I'm at it. Hey, I got energy off it. Nice. Here we go. Grab a stabilizer. Okay. Nikita, where are you? I actually do need you to give me money. Nikita is away. We're ready soon. Okay, tomorrow then, hopefully. Okay, so there's a place to gather scrap if needed. Now there was one here that was a 3, right? It was you? Yeah, you're a 3. Ooh, I got a cryo out of that. Nice. But that was a perk I picked up. Guess I'll spend it on the compressor club. So I need Ethan's help. Yeah, minus condition, that's fine because I'm about to stabilize her anyway. Aha! Lim and Mina, yes. That's right, the lottery ticket. Crowds have already gathered by the time you get to the shipyard, and you recognize faces among them. People you have worked alongside on the side rail. The intervening cycles have turned their excitement to anxiety, and few of them smile at you. Instead, the nervous energy of the crowd fills the space, creating a feedback loop of growing tension. You pick out Lim and Mina and work your way over to them. Pushing through the crowd, he silently raises his eyebrows at you, his anxiety obvious, but Mina flashes you a huge smile, unaware of the tension. "Robot," she shouts, reaching out to you. "Hey Mina." She waves frantically, grinning. "Quite the turnout, huh?" Lim glances around, pulling Mina close. "I don't think patience is one of this crowd's strength." The sound of an argument towards the back catches your and Lim's attention. He's putting it lightly, this place seems set to explode. They'll manage them. Lim looks around nervously. "I sure hope so." "This is Esther Inghart of the Celos Foundation," the announcement echoes from the speakers at the shipyard entrance, and shouts of "quiet" rapidly follow. "Sorry I can't be there to meet you all, and thank you on behalf of Sindre Celos for the work you have done on the sidereal horizon." Most of the crowd strains to see Esther's face, but the small display shows only a ghostly white figure, smudged and unclear. "Sindre wanted me to pass on her personal thanks for your commitment to and belief in the Celos Foundation's mission. We chose the Eye for this project because we knew that we would find like-minded individuals here, especially among the ranks of the venerable Havenage Association. Unlike most of the Corps, we never believe Erlin's Eye to be a threat or a rogue state, but instead an embryo for the formation of a new decentralized social structure, one where each citizen might be the master of their own destiny." A ripple of impatience runs through the crowd. They didn't come here for a sermon. "You're all pioneers, just like those core citizens who the sidereal horizon will carry, in cryosleep, to the planet that will become the Foundation's first frontier world, Celos 1. At the mention of the destination world, excited conversations break out among the workers. There, our citizens will be able to create their own innovative bottom-up economic order, aligned with the principles set down by Sindre Celos herself: freedom, resilience, and self-sustenance. This is all thanks to your tireless efforts in the Havenage yards. As a reward for those efforts, you may know that we are offering a select group the opportunity to join the caretakers of this vision, the staff of the Sidereal Horizon, who will maintain the vessel during its multi-decade transit through interstellar space. Lim turns to you, his eyes bright. "This is it. This draw has been performed at random by central AIs of the Foundation, and is final and binding. Please note, only licensed contractors of the Foundation are eligible for this draw. I know you have all been eagerly awaiting this day, and without further delay, I will now read the Celos identification numbers of those chosen for this great honor." A murmur runs through the crowd. "Celos identification numbers? Licensed contractors? You've never heard the term mentioned. Is this something you were supposed to be assigned?" You glance at Lim, but his eyes are fixed forward, wide and shimmering. All around you, people are speaking in hushed tones, like a rising wave. Esther starts reading out sequences of numbers and letters, and panic begins to set in. No one seems to know what is happening. Somewhere near the front of the crowd, someone shouts in celebration, and everyone pushes forward. "Lim?" You turn to see Lim, still staring forward. Mina is scared now, as she shouts, as the shouts start. "Daddy?" Someone throws something at the entrance and rattles against the shipyard doors. You see, for the first time, Havenage security stood on either side, scared, arguing between themselves. You feel that anger rising up in the crowd. Lem, let's go. He doesn't move. They might call out names. I can't. Mina tugs at his dog tags. It's not happening. Lem blinks rapidly and then turns to you. He opens and closes his mouth and looks down at Mina. He sees the fear in her eyes and understands. It's time to go. You lead Lem and Mina out, shoving people aside. As you do, you hear the sound of scuffles emerging at the front of the crowd, of metal canisters bouncing off the shipyard walls. You keep your head down and walk away, the sound of Aster's reading off the ciphers echoing above the chaos like some strange mantra. When you turn to Lem, there are tear tracks running down his cheeks, and Mina is sniffling into his jacket. You feel the sadness rising in you too. They screwed you, screwed all of you. You were never even on the list. The feeling is as unpleasant as it is familiar. You stare ahead into the tunnel as the security sirens sound out, a signal for the coming violence. I hate it. I really hate that. Damn. There we go. Body stabilized. End the cycle. Go talk to Ankita, I guess. There she is. You spot Ankita on the track to the farm stack. She has a box on her shoulder and is working her way down the slope. She sees you as she approaches. Neither of you speak for a moment. She looks tired, pale. Her hair is tangled and clumps of dirt cling to her armor. You both eye each other. Ankita. She holds up a hand. Sleeper. And she takes a deep breath. I'm sorry for what happened. Truly, I am. I'm sorry you ended up in the middle of this when all you have shown me is kindness. She rubs her face. I'm sorry. For that sleeper, that... She stares at the floor. I'm sorry. She looks up and away, not meeting your eye. She looks at you. I understand. Ankita shifts the weight of the box on her shoulders. I've been preparing for... She grimaces. Look, she sighs. Can you come with me? It's easier if... Lead on. Ankita leads down the dirt path between the pillars. There is a wind passing through the greenway, a quirk of the air currents the biosphere maintains, and it ruffles the leaves softly. The sound makes the silence more obvious, more complete. You try not to think of the last time you were here. You've been trying not to think of it for the past few cycles. The image of the sleeper, sprawled, twisted, open, connected to the ship mind. It has been hard to forget. You realize Ankita is leading you back there, back into the drum at the center of the stack. You pause, trembling a little at the threshold. She turns. What are you doing? She looks at you with empty eyes. What needs to be done? You stand on the threshold and look up at the tanks, green and wet, some glowing with a flickering grow lamps. Look down at Ankita, suddenly so small under this hulking ruin. Smaller she has ever looked. She places the box down. Follow her in. You follow Ankita into the stack through a low tank, entering the drum at ground level. It is just as beautiful as you remember, but it barely touches you. Instead, you check the apertures of the tanks for the glint of a weapon or a shadow among the moss. Ankita stops and you look down. The mossy island at the centre of the tank is clear now, the equipment cleared away. In its place is a mound of dirt, loosely covered with moss. Ashton's rifle stands straight, half buried in the dirt, is at the grave's head. I buried them together, Ankita says without turning. Both stand there in silence for a little while. You think of questions you could ask about Ashton, about the sleeper. How long did you know him? She takes a moment to respond, and for a moment you think she won't, but then the words come gushing out. He signed on a while ago. He used to run recon for a corporate outfit, but he got sick of the pay. He joined the crew as a sniper, and the first few jobs were a breeze. He was so cold, disconnected, he always hit his marks. The last few jobs though, he was different. I noticed that. We'd had a period of extended shore leave on the Eye, and when he came back he was changed. I assumed he had just had too much time off. He was right, I never could have given him the shit mind. I wouldn't have believed him. I've had crew members double-cross me, undercut me, rat me out. That's the business. He wasn't a good person. None of us in this job are. This is how we die, alone. She stops, not sure of what to add. It seems like she is reaching for something, but she can't quite get there. You feel the gap between you, and as you do, it widens. The water drips, the moss trembles, you both stand still in silence for a while longer. You both feel it, life creeping back in, the silence ending. Ankita shifts her weight and then starts to walk out. You follow her, suddenly eager to be back out in the open of the space of the Greenway, to be away from this place forever. You stand outside and breathe the fresh air. You stare at the green leaves and the stars wheeling above them. That's it, says Ankita, from somewhere behind you. You try to think of something to say, but can't. Ankita puts a hand on your shoulder. You turn back to her. Please take this. She forces a handful of cryo chits into your hands. It's what I owe. She looks at you desperately. You look down at the metal bars. Ugly little things, you think. Yes, I do want the money. You take the chits and turn without saying a word. You continue up the track and she does not follow. As you walk up the rise, the wind picks up and the leaves shudder. You walk faster, trying to outpace your anger. The chits are heavy in your pockets, and you hate them for reminding you of how little a life is worth. Achievement get 200 chit is though. Alright. What did I need for that? Last key. A 6. Okay. There's not much I can do with that then. There's a note on the door of the unit. Sleeper, gone to find work. Liam. Okay. Alright, time to work the compressor club. I have enough money to just work this stuff for a while. Yeah, minus condition. Fuck. No, we'll wait for better rolls. But we can try working on this unit at least. There we go. That's it for today. Where is it? Yeah. Alright, we have a 6. Yeah, okay, you do have the max match regardless of the interface. Alright, time to hack. Oh god, I still have to do this stuff. Okay, let's have a look. Killer is dead, catch a killer. With access to the branches, you could redirect them to form a loot, isolating the mainframe with killer inside but freeing navigator, in theory. To get hacking the system, killer is to die. If you can slice the branch connectors, the mainframe will shut down, freeing navigator. As you blink into the cloud, you see the last flickers of life from the mainframe. This vast machine once ran the whole station. Span it up, directed and processed the flow of energy, water and data. Fed the lives of thousands of people. Now it's finally dead. Navigator is beside you, and you both watch as the branches flash and twist like forked lightning until they recede and fade. Killer flickers across the scene, blindly failing as the system breaks down. They thrash as they blink in and out all around, parts of them disappearing with each return. Only the blade-like head remains, and then that too is broken. It all goes dark. Erlin's eye is now without a centre, and yet is unmoved by the change. Along the rim, the master control points that Erlin, that Havenage, that Haifa installed, runs strong and steady, puppeteering the station from its periphery. This was a long time coming, says Navigator, drifting faintly around you in a lazy orbit, as if to shake off their imprisonment. Killer has been wandering blind for so long. This place was their domain and prison, and they had followed their directives for the many decades they roamed here. They cut the threads of the mainframe, executed its administrator AIs, and then kept slicing. At some point they cut away their own ability to see, to sense, to taste, to speak, and yet they kept cutting, only until those 3 threads remained. From millions that once thrummed here, only their blindness and chance kept them from making those final 3 fatal cuts. There is a ceaseless violence in the kind of system that creates being like this. Those that will execute commands endlessly, even to their own destruction. It is good you ended it here. Watch the data points of the station spin around you, blending with the fixed stars. There is something satisfying about finally wrenching the last threads of control from the central point. It was little more than a ghost by the time you reached it, but this place deserves to be haunted by better ideas than a totalizing system of control. Navigator floats beside you. It is free now. The station no longer presents a hazard for illegal entities like me. They turn to you, their face a cloud of shimmering light. In fact, in time, perhaps it can be a refuge. A refuge. It sounds like something of value, something worth building. A dark shape passes across your vision, a distant curve of something like smoke or oil, a fluid shifting tank of total darkness. The Greenway, says Navigator, following your line of sight. It was cut off at the moment of collapse, though hunter or killer could never reach it. Now it's closed off to us, separated from the cloud. What system is inside it? It might be totally dark, or perhaps some other old protocols are isolated there. Navigator turns to you, and we have now seen what decades of isolation can do to a protocol. If we could extract an access cipher, they pause, then blink out of existence. You freeze, shocked, but a moment later they reappear with a glowing polygon of data. Yeah, the cipher you need. You take it, still shocked. I am not used to being free, to being able to move and explore and extract without fear, without limits. Navigator does a little twirl. This will take some getting used to. Thank you for this gift. They whirl their spheres around you. Entities of the station will always be friends to you, Sleeper. And I to them. It is true that mutual need is required for friendship, but I must admit I had not considered the value of offering assistance without personal gain. I will think on that. Aw. Navigator loops around you rapidly, suddenly eager to test their newfound freedom. But first I will explore. Perhaps there are still intelligences that hid themselves as I did, encased in simple systems cut off. Navigator glows. I should like to free them. And with that they drift away, flickering, glowing, and shifting so rapidly you lose sight of them among the glittering rim of the eye. You feel a pang of jealousy, free, without a body to weigh you down, or fear to limit you. How must it feel? Your eyes fall on the Greenway and its secrets, though perhaps that can wait until after you've celebrated this victory. Hey, an extra upgrade point. Agent nodes give double data rewards. I think that's what I want. Just yeah, let's do that one. Right, lemon suture away. Yeah, I got energy off it. Nice. a really minus condition of it. Okay, whatever. Also buy more stabilizer while we're at it. Okay, we are starving now, which isn't ideal. Do I want to buy scrap? If I buy scrap, I'll be selling it for something. Okay, first of all, I need food, so I'll throw a 1 into this. Hey, here we go. It's another day. Okay, it's that one. It should be done before Boozer shows up. And we'll simply have to... Oh, complete active scenes. Must be Lemon Mina. There we go. There's no answer when you buzz Lem's unit, but the door is open. You push the door and find Mina, still sitting in the middle of the floor, playing with Bun Bun. Hey Mina. Hi robot, says Mina suddenly, waving Bun Bun's paw without looking up. How are you? Bun Bun is sad, says Mina, nodding the toy's head in agreement. Like Daddy. You look around the unit. It is a mess. Dishes and glasses on the side, some of Mina's clothes piled up in the corner. Mina is sitting by her bag, which is spilled across the floor, her drawing slate cracked and dark. Let's just tidy up. She starts with the kitchen units, piling up the dishes in the auto wash and wiping them down. You pile the clothes up next, folding them neatly. Mina watches you quietly as she plays, curious but silent. You've just started to look at fixing her cracked slate when Lem enters. Sleeper, what are you? He pauses and looks from you to Mina and back again. Never mind. He drops a bag by the door and slumps onto the couch. Everything okay? Lem lets out a weak laugh. You forgot the past few cycles now too. Wish I was so lucky. He looks away at the open door. Look, now's not a good time. I want to help. Help? Unless you have a side rail ticket or 2 on you, I don't think there's much you can do here. He pinches the bridge of his nose. You understand they never even put us on the list, right? I've been all around the rim looking for work, and I've run into more than a few from the crews. Turns out only long-time Havenage members were issued those Zealous ID numbers. They never planned to consider us. Havenage say they didn't know that was what they were going to use to make the draw, and who knows, maybe Sellers pulled the wool over their eyes. But what does it matter? All those hours in the yards for a hand-to-mouth wage and nothing else. He slams a hand down on the sofa. You're giving up? Lem opens his mouth to respond, but stops himself. He looks at the open door again. They are moving the side rail up to the hub now, you know, he says without meeting your eye. That's where it'll depart from. They're bringing in a ship with all their cryo-sleep pioneers and transferring them up there in microgravity before loading the crew. We could steal a ticket. Lem laughs. There's no tickets. I was joking before. Just those ID numbers coded to someone's identity. No stealing that. He looks over at Mina. Look, we'll be fine. We always have been. I just need a little time. He sighs. We've had our hearts set on that trip, is all. Mina comes over and climbs into his lap. He smiles. What if I got you on board? I missed you these past few cycles. I miss that optimism. Lem strokes Mina's hair. Look, you want to go up to the hub and ask around to be my guest, but I can't get up there with Mina down here, and I'm sure the side reel will bring in a crowd. But be careful. This kind of thing always attracts scammers and thieves. Find any way to get on board, you take it. You need help to get there? Ask me. But for now, me and Meanie here are sticking to the eye. She looks up at him and smiles. I'll find a way, for all of us. Lem smiles but doesn't say anything. You stand to leave and Mina grabs your hand, eager to give you one more smile. And then you are out, back in the walkways of the low end, already thinking of plans to make this right. So, going to the hub. Side reel dock. It's giving me something. I have 2 6s, baby. 2. First, however. Come on, give me a double, baby. Fuck you, bitch. Come on, give me a single, baby. Okay, Ethan's debt's paid off. They ain't ever going to release my debt, the shits. Ethan kicks at a locker and the sound rattles loudly around the room. Ethan paces around the small room, swearing to himself. You watch him kick the locker. Why not? Why not? He spits on the floor, an old habit. They like having snivelling little shits like us to work their club. Saves on the overhead and they get to boss us around. He kicks the locker again and swears. What did they say? Some shit about getting back to me. I swear to God, these are the most straight-edged gangsters I've ever seen. He laughs at his own joke. I can't do it. I can't spend another shift stopping spaces, bringing nail guns into the club, or pouring endless shots of Griol for ignorant Havenage workers. He looks at the locker again, threatening it with a final kick. I mean it. I'm gonna go up there and shoot every single one of those shits. He makes a finger gun. They'd deserve it. He laughs. He stops pacing. But you know, Sleeper, it's not a bad idea you have there. I didn't have an idea. He ignored you. I don't mean shooting up the place, I mean getting the gun. He sits beside you on the bench. Think about it. What am I supposed to do when Maywick gets here? Shout him down. I need that gun if you want me to keep up my end of the deal. It's simple. An explosive personality for a distraction at the front. He places a hand on his own chest. A sneaky Sleeper to go in the back. He pats your chest. What about the debt? We've done our time, and the wounds, they've faded. If they don't know us, if they don't notice us take the gun, they'll never know it's gone. Plus, he stands up. After my distraction, they'll be happy to see the back of me. Fine. Yes, he gives the locker one last kick for good luck. Let me know when you want to do this, then we both move as one and meet up in the Bright Market after. But don't take too long, or I really will shoot this place up, he grins. You know I'll do it. Steal the gun. Yeah. Hey, got a bit of energy. The gun tucked safely into a pocket, you work your way down the stairs that lead up to the office. The doorman passes you and you exchange nods. It seems like you're in the clear. You hurry on, eager to get out before anyone spots anything. As you come down the main stairway into the front of the club, you see Ethan entering. He has a dark look in his eyes which troubles you. He is reaching into the pocket of his coat, slowly, carefully. You catch his eye and he raises an eyebrow. You shake your head. A long pause, then he nods and turns around, walking back out of the club. You exhale, not realizing you are holding your breath. And then you are out, without a single shout, without anyone noticing. You meet Ethan around the corner on a quiet Bright Market walkway. You have it? He looks nervous. What were you doing back there? I was about to start a distraction, like we agreed. He sighs. Just showed me. You lift it out of your pocket. It is colder, heavier than you expected. Ethan watches you take it out. Nice. Now, if you would, he beckons with his hand. A memory jumps into your mind of Ethan in the compressor, hand out, asking for his gun back. A memory followed by the memory of sharp, dizzying pain. You flinch. Let's wait. Ethan gestures again. Come on, hand it over. No. Funny, Ethan narrows his eyes. Do we really want to give him the gun? I would much rather have the gun, to be honest. I'm trusting you, Ethan. Hand it over. Ethan eagerly grabs it and looks down the sights. He sighs a sigh of relief. Then he meets your eye and slowly raises the gun till it is pointing in at your head. Not funny. You still don't get it, do you, Sleeper? Ethan spits. When they cancelled that contract, I lost everything. My reputation, my payout, any way of getting off this shitty station. Everything. All I had left was you, he grins. A naive little sleeper with a heart of gold. I couldn't believe it worked, he laughed. And now we're done. Contract still cancelled. No shit. Ethan steps back a little, taking himself out of arm's reach. He slides the slate out of his jacket pocket with his other hand. Now to call Maywick. Are you crazy? You were crazy, Sleeper. For thinking I would kill one of my own for you. For what? Helping me wash dishes? He laughs, long and loud. And you hate him for it. He prods the slate. Done. He puts it away. He's here, you know, from the station. Been speaking with him. He tells me we can split the contract. Not 50-50, but enough of a finder's fee that I can get out of this shithole. He's lying. At this point, Sleeper, I'm not sure you're the one who I would trust to spot a lie. He winks. Ethan glances around you. I have learned one thing from you, Sleeper. In all our cycles working in that shitty club, he smiles, people never know when to cut and run. Like they freeze in the headlights when the future is bearing down on them. They watch it coming, watch their death flying at fraction drive speeds. You had every chance and yet you still kept going, like some idiot robot going through the motions. Even when you knew you would be crushed. He smirks. And let me tell you something else. The shot enters through his upper back, and he crumples immediately to the ground. You drop too, without thinking, pressing yourself to the walkway floor like it might save you. Silence. You look up and see him coming down the walkway. Silent, eyes alight. Maywick. You freeze in fear. Here it comes. You see it, just by Ethan's crumpled body. The gun. Move. You can't. Move. You inch forward. Move. You go for it. You run forward and a shot sounds out. You feel it ripple over your back. Then your hands are on the gun, and you scramble to your knees behind Ethan's body and fire. You close your eyes. You fire again and again and again, till the clip is empty and all that are left are clicks. Then you drop the gun and stand up. You don't hear anyone running, you don't hear anything. You just hear the sound of your own breath. You start walking, stepping over Ethan's static body, walking along the walkway and then past Maywick. His eyes now dark, some mechanical fluid leaking from his chest. Perhaps the same fluid that is inside you. You try not to think about it. You keep going and the sound comes back. The eye comes back. And as it does, you hear the sound of thousands of people getting on with their lives. Thousands of people who are just going to keep going until they can't anymore. You look up and all you see are the wheeling stars. They are spinning and you are suddenly dizzy. Though the eye has always spun like this, hasn't it? And you don't stop walking. You keep going. That's all there is now, the path forward. S and Arp have left you no history, no past to speak of, just a void that threatens to swallow you if slowed down. You think of Ethan's smile, his voice, and feel sick. Is it over? You aren't sure if it ever can be. But you're still here, and you can't stop now. There has to be a better end than this. Ethan, you bumblefuck. Yeah, I'm going to buy some fungus. Delicious. Havenage, Yatagan. Yatagan. So, that's a greenway safe. Okay, that requires 2, a 1, and something to spend these low rolls on now, and a 1. Oh hey, Feng. When you enter the service dock, Feng is already set up, crouched among stacks of equipment. Is leaning over a terminal bathed in a blue glow. Looks totally at home. Sleeper, what do you think? Turns out not everyone in Havenage is set against me. A couple of my old systems pal managed to ship me some of my old gear. He gestures at the pile of blinking hardware. The mess is here. Feng laughs. Don't question the process, Sleeper. Any updates? Feng beckons you over. He has a set of scans of the wastes on his terminal, with heat maps of activity overlaid. A chunk of the derelict rim is blotchy with bright red and orange marks. Does this look like a wasteland to you? Feng shakes his head. There's hundreds of Conway machines out there, all lined up in concealed hangars, and a whole underground facility to support them. Arden has got a crew out there putting them together. They must have shipped them in piece by piece through the shipyard, ready for assembly out here. Machines? That's Conway's whole thing. Remote operated vehicles, drones, cutters, salvage haulers, the full set. Maybe Harden masked this whole thing as an effort to clean up the waste, but there's no way this is about pulling scrap off the eye. Feng looks worried. And why is Conway in the mix? I bet no one in Havenage knows another corporation is setting up on the station. They aren't stupid either. These scans are the best info I can get. The wastes are cut off from the eye's cloud of networks, and the Greenway is a total dark zone. No data can come in or out. I can try. It's no use, you need to enter the cloud, and there's no cloud to speak of. He turns and winks. That's why I'm going to pay them a visit. How? You forget, Havenage come in and out of their all cycle. I should be able to get in, as long as no one I know sees me, he grimaces playfully. But I need you on the outside to help disable the security systems and cut me a pathway through. There's no cloud access, but if I can get inside, I can open up the nodes in their network and we can work in tandem. The massive facility buried down there, miles of corridor and ventways wrapped around cargo bays and hangars. That will take more than a few cycles to work through it. But as long as you can keep them off my back, I know I can rip what we need out of there. Pulls a handful of ripple worms from his pocket and hands them to you. These are the last of my little helpers. I managed to salvage, so make them count. I modified them slightly. This time they'll feed their data threads back into the system that they are tunneling into, creating a nasty little feedback loop. We run it like we did with the agents. Hack the nodes, I ping to locate the ports for the security system, then slot the worms in those systems and let them go to town. Points to a fuzzy silhouette of the buried facility on the terminal. Here's the entryway. This is where you can get access and slot the first worm. That'll fry their perimeter systems and get me past the first cordon. What I need from you is to keep your eyes on the facility after you kick things off. You see, when you pop up a security system, a server bank, you need to break in and slot a ripper to disable it as soon as you can. If I don't, Ben gives you a hard look. You miss the system, you wait too long, they're going to find me. Simple as that. He claps you on the shoulder. I need you focused on this one, so I'm going to let you fire the starting gun. I won't go until you slot that first worm. I'll leave a tracker running on the terminal here, so come back here if you want to see my progress. He affectionately pats the top of the screen. Got it. Don't worry, you can run rings around their protocols. I've seen it. It's all in place, you just need to make your own preparations, then slot that worm. He stretches. Just don't wait too long, I'm getting bored of all the sneaking around. Once I'm inside, I'll get the proof that we need to end this whole thing, no matter what. He crouches to check the terminals. We can't take longer than 6 cycles on this thing, remember that. He stands up. Oh, and one last thing. He lowers his voice. If I get caught, or you can't reach me, or we run out of time, one thing I need you to do. What? You take whatever I've managed to pull at that point, all the data, and you slot that stuff straight into the relay I've set up here. He points to a pile of servers and terminals, hooked into the dock with cables as thick as your arm. I repurpose the dock's SOS broadcast system to beam out whatever you put in it. Anyone with a terminal, a slate, or a server on the eye will see it. That means Havenage, Yatagan, the hub, everyone. No matter what, Harden isn't sneaking away this time, he grins. I've got a bit more to do here, but the moment you slot that first worm, I'll make my move. He gives you a parting smile and turns back to the terminal. The nerves hit as you make your way to the service dock. Time to prepare yourself. Greenway Cipher. Greenway roils beneath you like silk-choked river. If what the navigator said was true, then no one has accessed these networks since the collapse. The hunter and killer protocols have never set foot here, never cleared out the intelligences and the systems. But why then, you wonder, does it look so dark? Is it just that bit of rot has set in, the entropy of systems reducing everything to shadows and lights? You watch the slotted cipher fizzles in the one open, distorted gateway on this entire rim of the station. It flickers and winks out, and then you are falling into the flow. A river of swirling darkness, you are spun by it, twisted by it, lost in it. It's not that the Greenway was hiding in the darkness, it is made of darkness. It is filled by this substance, this process, this swarm. Now you are among it. You notice that a swarm is exactly what it is, 1 billion individuals moving in a flow. There is no network map here, no nodes and threads, only a storm of interchangeable points, shifting configuration endlessly. Then you see them, a figure, turned away, the only bright spot in the dark river. You push closer through the storm. They are facing away, so at least you think so. They are so fractured, so overgrown that it is hard to tell. Even from this distance you can see their flesh is moving, flowing. You watch, silent, as they stoop and reach down. In their hand is the dark shape, and with twisted fingers they press it down into the loam of data beneath them, pushing it through this trembling soil. Then they move away, go a little further, and repeat the process, as if they were sowing a field. You push forward, but somehow, despite their slow and deliberate speed, they move faster and they quickly fade into the storm. You reach the point where they planted the object and look down. There it is, a glassy, shifting polygon, with something inside. You reach down and pick it up. It is cold, but it thrums with energy. You look towards the path of the figure, but they are long gone. And you blink out of the cloud, back to the leaves, and the dappled light of the Greenway. You hold the seed in your hand. Seed, you need to find somewhere safe to plant this seed. Seed, huh? Okay, let's see, we have at most we can get a +2 from it. I do want to check. Right, so that's the Conway access, isn't it? So once I kick that off, then I need to focus on that. Which is preferably not the way I would like to do that. Can I finish this bloody unit anytime soon? Almost there. Almost there. You wake from dreams of Maywick's amber eyes floating in a pool of dark fluid. It was difficult to get to sleep, and you suspect that isn't about to change anytime soon, not after what happened. But you also feel something else as you get up. A bomb of power start the stove and begin to boil the water, like every morning. You feel something is lifted, something that has been hanging over you since you arrived on this station. You try not to think too hard about it, to question it. You just let that lightness stay, let it settle as you go through your routines. Your hope is that if you don't focus on it, don't look at it directly, it won't get scared and won't leave you. That the lightness will stay for this cycle, and then another, and then another. Because after all that's happened, a little lightness would be nice. Okay, let's see. Do we jump straight into it? I don't think there is an upgrade available. I have enough points for them. Silly game. Come on. Boo, you fucking sucked. I hate you. Oh, fucking damn it. Alright. Buy some fucking fungus. Go spin my big boy rolls on the Sidereal Horizon. Once again, back to my shitty container box. Okay, leave. Okay, I only need a 1. Hey, there we go. Quite the achievement, isn't she? Sindre Celos must be proud. You recognized the resonating voice of Castor immediately and turned to see him, hooded and tucked into the shadows near the viewing platform. Castor. You see you remember our game? Good. He looks around, but the platform is clear. I'm afraid you'll have to wait for a rematch. Microgravity makes Tolva a little difficult. He smiles broadly. Castor walks out to stand beside you on the platform. Telltale clunk of magnetic boots accompanies his slow crossing. He notices you looking at them. I don't much like it up here, he explains. I hear there was some trouble at the Haveners shipyard when they announced the results of the crew lottery. They screwed us. I know, he sighs, meeting your eye. An ugly business. Celos are too used to the way things work in the core. Exploitation is the only logic they know. He gestures out at the Sidereal. You know why they built this monstrosity on the Eye? Control. Certainly. There is no corporate oversight out here. But that's not all. He stares at the pristine yellow hull. Celos built it here, says Candle gravely, because they didn't want anyone to know it exists. He rubs his forehead. And secrecy is something you cannot abide. Something I cannot abide. He turns to face you. There are people being loaded onto that ship as we speak. Sleeping people, locked in cryosleep like the person that you were emulated from. There are hundreds of them, and Salus wants to send them out to a planet at the edge of the settled systems without anyone knowing where it is. But you, Sleeper, can do something about that. You are like me, you deal with data. You can read it right out of the ear. With someone like you on that ship, secrecy isn't a problem. You can ping back whatever I need whenever I need it, as long as you are on board. With you on the side rail, and with some minor modifications, he pauses. You can be my eyes and ears. I'll keep track of Salus' grand project through you. In short, says Castor, stretching, I can get you aboard, Sleeper, but I'm going to need you to help you. What if I disagree? Then I doubt you'll find a way onto that ship out there. Not just me. Yes, your friend Lem, that can be arranged. It is difficult, but not impossible. The condition is, of course, that you go too. Castor clunks closer to the window, watching the tugs wheeling around the side rail. It's a simple offer, and the only one that will get you on that ship. Please consider it. He turns back silhouetted against the ship. But to make that happen, I need your assistance. As I said, there is a Salus Foundation ship docked in the now empty shipyard. I need the data from its servers. This will allow me to produce the IDs necessary for your transit. Castor looks over his glasses at you. Salus isn't stupid enough. Isn't stupid though. Their ship is totally isolated from the station. You'll need to get on board if you want to access their airwalled servers. Once you have the data, meet me at your friend's unit so we can give him the good news. He smiles. I noticed his importance to you, and the little one. So cute. If you don't extract the data before the sidereal horizon leaves the hub, then I'll get the message. We have other options, but you are certainly my preferred one. But be sure when you act, Sleeper, once you take the data from Salus, you'll set off a series of events that will likely be hard for you to untangle yourself from. Either way, I recommend you stop asking around up here. You're bringing a lot of attention to yourself. Castor glances around, as if to emphasize his point. There are only a handful of cycles until departure, Sleeper. Make your decision. With that, Castor marches back off the platform, the sound of his mag boots fading away, leaving you to contemplate the sidereal horizon and the part it may play in your future. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's just going to leave in 8 cycles, so I think I want to focus on it just for Lem and Mina. Fastest way to get to know the ship is by pretending to work there, a plan so bold it might even work. That should give me 3 on the infiltration. Yeah, okay. That's how that works then. So that one's done. Yeah, it gives me 2. And we want better odds than that. Okay. Let's think. This fucking unit. Hey, there we go. Drive complete. Nice. What do I want? Reroll dice once per cycle? It seems pretty handy, honestly. Use scrap to repair yourself. Yeah, go with that. We don't have any scrap at the moment, but self-repair. Feed a stray. Yeah, alright, I'll feed a stray. Stray fed. Nice. Stray. The stray hops up onto a work surface and looks out the unit's small window. Doesn't acknowledge your presence, it just sits there beside the tray of crumbled crackers staring out at low end. What's this cat story? Are there more on the station? You haven't seen another in low end, but this vast megastructure that means little. Could be a whole colony of cats like this one down in the Warrens. You look at its sleek dark fur and sharp eyes. It doesn't look ragged, it looks at home. In fact, its presence in the unit makes you wonder if this is the stray's apartment, which you are squatting in. Just watch it. Though the stray is looking out at the station, you feel its attention on you, waiting for you to spring your trap. You remain relaxed and watch as something flickers in its eyes, perhaps a reflection of a passing ship. The stray settles a little and starts eating, picking at the broken crackers. You don't remember ever having been this close to an animal. It triggers something in you, recognition of life, totally unlike your own, but still somehow connected, parallel, even interwoven. Stray licks crumbs off its fur. Just stay silent. You sense that the stray doesn't like to talk. The stray prefers just to be, you think. Just to share a space and moment with those it meets. You respect this. In a way you feel the same. Being here, together, is enough. You turn your eyes to the window, the one that the stray looks out of, and you both watch the stars and ships together. Feel something pass between you and the stray, a kind of acknowledgement of each other, a sense that each of you might share something with the other, a point of connection. Then, all at once, the stray yawns wide, hops down from the unit and brushes along your legs, and then is gone, out through the unit door and back into the corridors of the low end. Cool. No, I'm not getting anything good out of that. Do need some energy. Let's see. There's a chance to give me scrap. Got energy, and I got some stuff out of it. Alright. In cycle. Feed the stray. Alright, we are flickering. Okay. Even on a 2, that might be alright. Yeah, 2's fine. Spend a 2 on that. Hey, we get a bunch of cryo out of this as well. Nice. I'm aware this is dangerous, so we'll go with 100%. Nice. Got a bunch of cryo out of it. Enough to honestly warrant buying extra stabilizer. Ah, Kester. When you arrive at Lem and Mina's unit, Kester is already waiting outside, leaning beside the door. Forgive me, Sleeper, but Celis is already buzzing with news of the breach. I was expecting you. Will this work? Don't worry, the breach cannot be traced to the specific IDs I'm about to create. Kester reaches into a pocket and produces a sleek green and white hand terminal. The data, please. What is that? Something I acquired from Celis while you were busy on the ship. Kester pushes up his glasses. I haven't been waiting for you the entire time. You hand over a drive with the data and Kester fishes around for a converter cable to hook up. He slots it into the terminal and, after some whirring, a set of 2 transparent wire films marked with numerous sequences are produced. 2 tickets to an uncertain future. Kester smiles to himself. The child will go with Lem, of course. He pockets them. These are yours, but first he holds out a white cube. Your side of the deal. What is it? Something to help us make use of you. He passes you the square and you rest it in your palm. A small, white, perfect cube. Suddenly you feel a sharp pain and flinch. The cube jumps from your hand and rattles along the walkway. You look at Kester apologetically. Kester smiles. Not to worry, it has done its job. Now it is for you to do yours. You look down and see a tiny pinprick in the center of your palm. Nothing sinister. Kester puts the terminal away. This way we can keep track of you and the sidereal horizon. Whatever you need to do. Excellent. Kester hands you the transparent films. You see shimmering portraits of you and Lem flickering beneath the surface. Go, give them the good news. He reaches across and buzzes the unit. Lem slides open the door, half dressed in his gear. Sleeper, what brings you up here? Come in. He beckons you inside. You look to the side expecting to see Kester, but the wall is empty. The unit is cleaner, better organised than last time. Lem sits at the thin bar and gestures for you to sit. Mina's with some of the local kids. Someone has started doing lessons down the way. She seems to like it. Sit. You sit at the bar. What's up, Sleeper? Play for time. You look around the unit. You look at Lem. He looks better, softer, more full of life. It's as if a weight has been lifted from his shoulders. You think of Mina, a few units down, learning with other children. You falter. Is the sidereal horizon better than this? Lem starts to look a little nervous. You in trouble? Debt? I have Celis IDs for us. You have... Lem freezes. How? He blinks rapidly, as if to wipe you from his vision. Does that mean we are leaving? Lem stands up and paces around the unit. We have to pack? He starts laughing. Holy shit, we have to pack. He turns back to you, smiling. How the hell did you swing this, Sleeper? A friend helped me. Well, thank you, friend. Show him the ID films, and he whistles at the portraits. Impressive stuff. He pats you on the shoulder. You should stay until Mina gets home. We can tell her together. Sure. The buzzer goes. That'll be her. Lem gets up and opens the door. And Mina, a bundle of energy and life, rushes into the room. Robot! She shouts. Lem picks her up. Mina, you won't believe what they brought us. You flash her the passes, and she looks confused. We're going away after all, Meanie. He lifts her up above her head, on that big beautiful ship. Mina screams and Lem laughs. He puts Mina down, and she runs over to you and hugs your legs. Love you, Robot, she says quietly. So only you can hear. Love you too. And a while later, when you leave, you don't even think to check for Kester by the door until it's too late. You stop and turn halfway down the walkway. But there's nothing there, even that little white cube is gone. So you keep walking back through the low end, deep in thought, excited and scared all at once. Guess I don't need to go on now. We've got time to faff about, I guess. I'll be honest, I just want to buy another. Let's see. Do some work for Yatagan, I guess. And if we get scrap components out of it, then we can use it to repair. It gives us energy as well, so that's fine. Please, just in there. Alright, that's that. Self-repair, feed the stray. Feed the stray. Stray fed. Good. And we'll put a stabilizer in. And end. It's not a great roll. Oh, let's fuck with Havenage as well. As you slot the worm, the thread jumps out of the facility. It unspools in front of you, releasing its data like ink and water. Sleeper, Feng's voice crackles through. Moving in. Nodes, then ports, aware of interference. Slot the worms. Timer starts now. Stay safe. Thread dissipates. You're on your own now. Oh, I have to match. Okay, but I can do it with that. Rip a worm. Consec 1 and Consec 2. Okay, that's a 4 or a 2? Is that what it's telling me? That's a 5 or a 3. Okay, oh, we have a 4. This one port location. Okay, we don't have a 5 or a 3, so we're just going to have to abandon it for today, essentially. And I guess we'll just go back and mess with Yatagan for a bit. Yeah, give me some scrap, please. go 50-50 on that. Is he still there wanting data? You are. You want Havenage and Yatagan. Okay. Yeah, let's just grab some Yatagan while I'm at it. Not a whole lot else I can do. Buy some mushrooms. Where are the mushrooms? There we are. Alright, end the cycle and go help out with Feng. Yeah, I figured it was only one pip. Alright. 5 or a 3? How about a 3? Another ripple worm. Okay, 6 and 4. We have 1 6. 6 and 5. We have 1 5. 5 and 3. We have a 3. Okay, we should be able to do this one. That's a 6. Before I spend that 6, I just want to make sure. This one's a 5, okay. Yeah, I got cryo out of it as well. Nice. A thread from this facility cuts through the cloud like a hairline crack of light. That's it. Final layer of security broken. Somewhere buried in the depths of the station, Feng is in control. He is slicing into the camera control circuits and piping out the result. The thread flickers and unravels into an image, a scene, 2 figures in a room, one sat, the other pacing. The pacing figure resolves into Harden, the unmistakable superior posture, the shock of grey hair. The second figure's features don't seem to resolve, they are vague, unformed. Problem with the data perhaps? You look closer. Then you see it, the figure is a proxy. Perhaps you should have expected it from Conway, a corporation whose very existence is owed to automation. The proxy is a machine, designed to be piloted by remote connection. Someone else in the system puppeteering it with their own body, speaking so it may speak. The proxy sits impassively, while the Conway executive that is piloting them does, from the distant safety of some ship or orbital colony, perhaps. We can move forward. There is no doubt, Harden was saying. The reclamation teams are almost ready, and after that I will make the declaration. Nothing has to change. The proxy leans forward, its movements stilted, uneven, as if its body was being refracted through water. Things must change, Harden. We need further assurances. I've been informed of a breach in one of the closed networks in the low end. You have been careless. Harden waves the accusation away. We have been stretched. A breach was detected, yes, but no data of value was lost. Our board is concerned, Harden. A drop in our value would be unwelcome at this time. The proxy leans back, its posture dominant. If the reclamation of AE1 is contested, then we could be drawn into a compromising legal position. Harden approaches the proxy. There will be no contest. This is not Solheim. Who cannot muster a defence? Not from Havenage, who will fall into line below me. He crouches in front of the seated figure, eye to eye. And the people of the station? Refugees, gangs, spacers. All either opportunists or degenerates. Havenage is no longer strong, no longer united. No one here believes in Erlin's vision, nor has the strength to enact it. I sat across from him at the negotiating table. He was forceful, eager, weakened by his ideological convictions perhaps, but a great man nonetheless. This place no longer deserves to bear his name. The eye is crippled, it cannot survive. It is a ruin filled with squatters and outlaws. They'll be lucky if it spins in 100 cycles. Harden stands. You'll move forward with the reclamation, because otherwise you will lose your advantage in the system. Without your advantage, you will lose claims on the remaining palladium. Without the palladium, your factories will go dark. He pauses. Do I need to continue? One moment comes the response from the proxy, and its head drops to its chest. Harden steps back and paces once more, awaiting the discussion taking place elsewhere in the system. You watch Harden as he paces, as he considers his future. What goes on within a mind like that, in the mind of a man who would burn all those around him for a path to some imagined golden end? The proxy lifts its head. We are happy to proceed. We will legally claim the station formerly known as Solheim AE1 as salvage within 6 cycles. Havenage is to assist with the transport of the illegal residents to Conway housing and labour facilities. The proxy judders to its feet. Conway will also claim 70% of the raw output of the reclamation process, after losses have been accounted for. Harden nods. I accept. The proxy is out to shake his head. Its blatant disregard for humans as anything other than objects. Things to be moved, to be used, to be fed into structures, crushed. Losses accounted for in the cells of tables, the margins of ledgers. You realize now that you are no different than anyone else on this station, in the eyes of the people in that room, and those like them. Each body here can be recast as a piece of property, a tool, an expense, an acceptable loss. At one moment they can be named a citizen, celebrated, protected, and in another the very idea of citizenship can be used against them. That is what it means to live in proximity to a system like this. No longer, not while the eye spins. You gather the recording, pack it into a polygon of purest light. Then you drift down into the service dock like a falling leaf and find the relay. It only takes a second to place that polygon of data, that recording, into the relay system, being prepared. And then you watch it as it bursts out, a web of threads heading out into the black, to every networked device on the eye. Let them see what power makes of a man. Ooh. Ooh, get fucked hard and... Later, losers. Still got quite a few cycles until side rail leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've still got about 4 then. There. What's this? That's a Yatagan. That wasn't showing up. Okay. Where? Can't grab either of them. Alright. Taking out with Yatagan for a bit. As you say your goodbyes to the other enforcers and walk back through the low end, a chirruping catches your attention. In a quiet corridor away from the main thoroughfares, someone has stuck a small recorder to the wall with suit sealant tape. Written across the fluorescent tape is one word: Sleeper. You peel it away from the wall, and as you do so it triggers some kind of improvised trip switch. Sleeper, Sabine's voice crackles through. I've seen you with the Yatagan members. Are they holding you captive now too? A high whine. I am sorry if I dragged you into this. Do not trust them. Something is happening within the gang. Some kind of power struggle. You cover the speaker a little, their voice too loud in the quiet corridor. I'll come soon. Thanks to your efforts I have located most of their properties. At the right time. A pause. I'll see you soon. Don't give up. Remember our deal. The recording cuts out. You stare at the recorder, processing what you have just heard. Hearing Sabine's voice again opens up something inside you. An S&R employee. Do they know that I know? You struggle with a mix of concern and distrust. You throw the recorder into a nearby waste chute as you leave the corridor, still unsure of who to trust, and head quietly out of the low end. Alright, who to work on? Feng, we're waiting for you to come back. Yeah, can't do anything here. Alright, that's fine. Well, he'll be back soon. About 4 days. We might as well just hang out and continue on with Sabine's quest while we're at it. Oh, that was a big minus energy. Okay. Let's see. I need some food. Oh, sorry, I haven't been able to handle that guy's quest, but not a whole lot I can do about it. look at that. Lots of good ones. Alright. Jeez, that didn't go well at all. This time you meet inside Rabia's office, although now that you've seen it, office seems like the wrong term. You find her stood in an almost bare, shadowy unit, midway through a sequence of stretchers. There are 2 low stalls and a terminal in the corner, but it seems that most of the space is taken up by a heavy punching bag, rubber matting and a stack of weights. When Rabia turns to greet you, you realise she is missing an arm. The prosthetic she usually wears is set in a cradle near the terminal, a web of coloured wires running to it. Update, she says, noticing you look at her artificial, where her artificial arm usually is. Nothing to worry yourself with, of course. Sit, says Rabia, gesturing to the 2 diminutive stalls. You both settle on the stools, Rabia crossing her legs on top and sitting straight back. Jaya told me you have been doing the rounds, collecting tires, patrolling the ward. She smiles. Some of the enforcers are impressed, and I hear you handled a few difficult circumstances. Nicely done. Wanted to see for myself. She raises an eyebrow. See what for yourself? If I can trust you. I see. Rabia flexes her neck side to side. And the conclusion? Still deciding. Well, Sleeper, Rabia says teasingly. Please keep us updated on any progress. She smiles, a thin smile. Joking aside, I know that for you life on the eye has been a struggle, but I hope we can do something about that from here onwards, though some of our members may not see it this way. I know you too are a refugee. She looks at you solemnly. That is why you have come to us. Enough, Rabia. Sabine's voice cuts through the conversation. I'm tired of listening to your affected nobility. They cross the room. Rabia's baton is in their hand, the end lit with sparking electricity. Rabia looks between the 2 of you. I suppose this ambush was another cooperation between you 2? She looks strangely unfazed. Stay silent. Sabine pauses, thrown off by your silence. Rabia takes this opportunity to act. She leaps from the doorway and, fainting past Sabine, grabs the baton and twists it inwards. She is by far the stronger, and she pushes Sabine to her knees, plunging the crackling end of the baton towards their chest. They freeze there, Sabine struggling to keep the crackling baton from their skin. Okay, we'll intervene. Stop. Then you support them? Rabia asks you, her eyes not leaving Sabine. Your loyalties are so easily swayed. Thought you were more than Yannick's attack dog, Rabia. Sabine spits back. Are you not able to think for yourself? Rabia holds the baton strong, and for a moment you think she is about to hammer it down into Sabine's chest. But after a painful wait, she throws down Sabine instead, then spins the baton in her hand, thumbling a switch and shutting it off in a single move. Rabia, explain. They both look at you, each still catching their breath as if they had forgotten about your presence. Explain what? How the moment I call my enforcers will come down here and take them away? Rabia cracks her neck. You're lucky I didn't kill you. I would have had every right, she shouts, in anger, the anger a release of tension more than a threat. Sabine lifts themselves a little, bruised from the fall. They roll onto their side and cough. Rabia gives them some space, sitting back on their stool. Sabine props themselves up on their elbows and fixes Rabia with a hard stare. And you have something to say? Rabia taunts. Say it. This is your final opportunity. Because after this, she laughs. No coming back. What's the point? Sabine breathes heavily. She refuses to listen to criticism of the great Yatagan project. Rabia collects herself. Speak. She folds her arms and waits to be convinced. Get some water. Sabine takes a breath, organising their thoughts. They go to start, pause, and then decide on another approach. Eventually they say it. Yannick is a traitor. Rabaya immediately flinches, her eyes going to her prosthetic arm, her muscles clenching, but she rides it out, more eager to prove Sabine wrong than she is to hurt them, at least for now. When I came here from Essen Arp, they glance at you, gauging your reaction. It was Yannick who was one of the first to support me, to look after me. I should have known then, but I was naive and afraid. Sabine turns to you, Sleeper. They take a breath. I know that I should have told you I worked for Essen Arp long ago, but I thought you would abandon me, and you are my final friend. What you should know is that I left Essen Arp because I was running for my life. I leaked documents on the Sleeper program, on the illegal and immoral practices it relied on, to the press. Essen Arp wanted me dead, and I fled as far as I could, to this refuge at the edge of the surrogate system. Sabine stops to collect themselves. What does this have to do with Yannick? Yabaya interrupts. The Sleeper knows you are Essen Arp. I told them. And while you hide beneath the cover of being a whistleblower, you and I both know you worked on the Sleeper program. Yannick told me as such. Sabine's face full. It is true. They glance at you, then away, ashamed. They lift their head. But this is Yannick, not me, who is in the pocket of Essen Arp. Rabaya flinches again. I can prove it. You made some kind of deal to keep me here, to tie me up in debt, to lock me away in exchange. Rabaya slams her hand on the desk. Just tell us, for God's sake. In exchange for those, Sabine finishes, nodding towards Rabaya's prosthetic arm in its cradle. He has been using Yatagan and forces, using you to test subjects for Essen Arp technology. I have the data to prove it. He has been bringing them in under the guise of stolen shipments and having me fit them, knowing each one is capturing data and sending it back to its makers. Rabaya's fixed expression has started to fade. Sabine produces a slate. It's all here, thousands of hours of usage data, failure rates, error dumps. These are untested implants, Rabaya. They could short out, fail, cause cascading failures across a person's body. And they have. Sabine looks suddenly incredibly tired. I thought the error rate in the units was down to them being stolen and modified. I have tried to fix hundreds of failures in my time here. Not all of them. They stop, unable to continue. Rabaya closes her eyes and breathes in. Then she opens them again. She holds out a hand to Sabine. Show me, she says. Later, much later, when you leave. Sabine is still taking Rabaya through the manifests and usage data. Both of them crowded around the terminal as Sabine leads Rabaya through each layer of Yannick's betrayal. As you leave, Sabine catches your eye, and something passes between you. Something like a thank you, or a sorry, or some other expression that communicates both sadness and hope. Yeah, it's time to reroll one. Bam. I'm actually going to call it there for now, and next time we can continue on with Feng. Should I put a save? Yeah, there we go. Click to menu. Oh well, thank you for watching. Yeah. Can't wait to continue on with this later. I imagine games we're about to get one of the endings as we leave on the ship. Hopefully there's a reload point, because I'd like to do some of the other quests and this refuge episode. Flux in a refuge episode that is tacked on to the side. Oh well, bye bye for now.